everybody. Dan Illman here with the DRF race of the day for Monday, September the 18th. It's race number 7 at Assiniboia Downs, the $50,000 Manitoba Matron for fillies and mares going 1 1/8 miles. Let's take a look at this field. Please click or scan the QR code for Race of the Day access on mobile, which includes free Formulator Pass performances. As always, big action at the Downs on Monday evening. This race, race number 7, part of the $1 Pick 4, with a $50,000 guaranteed pool. The Pick 4 encompasses the last 4 races on the card. Also, the 20-cent ASD Jackpot Pick 5, the last 5 races on the Monday evening card. There's a $112,000 carryover going into this Jackpot Pick 5. Nice race, the Manitoba Matron, a pretty competitive group. We take a look at the Timeform US pace projector for this race. We're not expecting a ton of speed. You'll note that blue bar, which indicates that Timeform US believes that this race could favor pace setters. French Rose should show speed from the inside post, the number 1. She's stretching out several sprint tries, and the number 3, Burrow Down, is a very versatile horse. She was on the lead last time out, but she's shown that she can win from just off the pace, and I'm sure if Burrow Down is sitting second just off French Rose, who's a big price on the morning line, the connections would be very, very pleased with that, with Burrow Down getting the jump on the true closers, turning into the stretch. Let's start things off by talking about French Rose, a very likable horse, a horse that's been a win machine throughout most of her career. This distance, however, is a great unknown for her, 1 1/8 miles. She's never gone 1 1/8 miles in her career. As a matter of fact, she hasn't even gone a round of ground since all the way back in 2020 when she was campaigning in the States down at the fairgrounds. Her form is solid. She comes out of a key race, and in her most recent start, there was a solid pace for her up front. She finished evenly as the favorite. The winner of that race came right back to win for an $18,000 tag with a 72 Beyer speed figure. She's solid. She's speedy. She draws the inside post. She's likely going to be a pace factor in this race. Whether she can go 1 1/8 miles against this caliber of competition is a huge question mark. The 2 is Reasonably Lovely, and she's a 3-year-old filly now tackling older horses. Didn't really fire at the Century Mile last time out, going 1 1/8 miles. That was a really strong field, however. The 4th place finisher came back to win the Alberta Oaks at Century Downs. Reasonably Lovely's prior form was really good here at the Downs. She won the Manitoba Oaks for 3-year-old fillies 2 starts back, going 1 mile. Her Beyer speed figures are a bit light in comparison to some of the others in this field, so she's likely going to have to take a step forward. She's so lightly raced, however, that she does have that upside potential. Burrow Down is the number 3, and quite frankly, Burrow Down is the one to beat. Here's her most recent start, the Miss Sandy D, going 1 1/16 miles, and in this short field of 4, she just got a beautiful trip and ride. She backed down the fractions, 26 and change for the opening quarter, almost a 53-second half mile. No wonder Burrow Down had plenty left in the tank, and she was able to sprint home and beat a couple of knees. She's won 3 of 4 since coming up to the Downs this meet. She's 6 for 7 here. She simply loves the surface. She could get another great trip either on the lead or sitting just off of a long shot, and I'm really not that concerned about her stretching out to the 1 1/8 miles. I think in a race with a moderate pace, she can get that distance. She's a deserving favorite on the morning line. Number 4 is Big Stretch, and Big Stretch is a horse you might want to take out of that Miss Sandy D, simply because the pace was so slow. It likely compromised her. She was trying to rally from last. 3 lengths down after a half mile in almost 53 seconds, she really had no chance to quicken once Burrow Down was able to sprint on for home. If you draw a line through that race, Big Stretch has run some very competitive figures in some quality races, and I think 1 1/8 miles is going to be fine for her as well. The pace is not going to be fast in this race, but it's going to be faster than it was last time out, and that's going to help the number 4 Big Stretch rally in the stretch. She's certainly one to consider, especially if folks go overboard on Burrow Down. Orange Theory is the number 5. She has the best last race Beyer speed figure. It was earned at Century Mile, where she was a gigantic price. Let's watch that race right now. The Northlands Distaff. She ends up finishing second. She split 2 next out winners. The winner of that race is a really good horse. She came back to win a stakes race at Hastings with a 72 Beyer. That horse has won 18 of 24 lifetime. Orange Theory got a very good trip in the race we just saw. Was able to save ground, got on through, and and she just got beat. And she was also a humongous price at 75 to 1. She'll be a mere fraction of those odds here. And the concerning point with Orange Theory is that she is 0 for 10 lifetime at Assiniboia Downs. Maybe she just prefers the racing at the Century Mile. But that last race was promising enough indeed from a speed figure standpoint, from a visual standpoint, and from the class of competition she was in against. She's a fair price, I guess, on the morning line. Orange Theory, a horse that hopefully for Orange Theory fans won't be too far off of a moderate pace. Catch the Dream is up next. We're going to watch her maiden win last time out. This horse has always shown a bit of promise. She was stakes placed as a 2-year-old last year at Century Mile. This is her first race off of a lengthy layoff going 3/4, and she was game to win. She had to be fit to do it. She did it at 8 to 1. She was on the lead that day, stretching out. She might be a bit of a pace presence in here. She's also cross-entered in a much easier spot on Wednesday. I wouldn't be surprised if the connections opt to go there. Catch the Dream stepping up way up in class off the maiden win. Missy Into Mischief is up next, and again, this is another horse that was probably compromised by the way the race was run in the Miss Sandy D. Burrow Down again controlled things up front, and Missy Into Mischief wanted to go early. And it just seemed like she was steadied, and she never could get relaxed near the back of the pack. And then once the way the race unfolded, she had no chance. It was her first start at the Downs. She ran some competitive races down in the States, 2, 3, 4 back at Prairie Meadows. She might be a bit of a sleeper here if she gets a more honest race flow, and she did show 4 starts back. If you let her run early, she can be close to a moderate pace. I'm expecting a good trip from Missy Into Mischief. Let go running out of the gate and maybe sitting third in the early portion of this race. Perhaps a sleeper and perhaps still unexposed at this class level. Before we take a look at my top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Burrow Down, I think, is the horse to beat. She did have a candy trip last time out, and she's going to be a short price in here. I'm going to take a little bit of a chance with the number 5, Orange Theory, a horse that has to prove that she can handle Assiniboia Down. She's 0 for 10 here, but her last race was very promising against a quality field out of town. And if this race does heat up just a little bit at 1 1/8, 1 1/8 isn't going to be a problem for her. She'll stay all day long. She'll be my top pick over Burrow Down in the Manitoba Matron Monday's Race of the Day. Good luck.